I went to the Gotham TV Awards, which was such a interesting experience. It was my first time in a very quote-unquote Hollywood space. I had the opportunity to go to sit at a table, and it is a lot like the Golden Globes, but it's in New York City. And we went to Cipriani, which is this beautiful, beautiful venue in Lower Manhattan. I sat down and I was like, oh my gosh, there's the entire cast of The White Lotus sitting on that table over there. And oh my gosh, there is the entire cast of Severance. Oh my gosh, and Handmaid's Tale, and all these shows that I had been watching that year, they were all literally sitting there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in this room. We were all, if you could imagine what the Golden Globes are like, they give you these circle tables and you're around the circle table. And my chair was rubbing somebody else's chair, and it was Renee Zellweger.
Welcome back to the finale of my exclusive interview with content creator Julian Sewell. Better known as the internet's favourite Hollywood actress, Paloma Diamond. He became a viral sensation for his impersonations of Queen Elizabeth to creating beloved characters that millions adore. On this episode, we pull back the curtain on Julian's life as a creative performer and give you the inside scoop on Hollywood. We unpack his transition from teacher to TikTok star and the truth behind red carpets and movie premieres. I'm Eleisha Foon, journalist, storyteller, and I've learned everyone you walk past has a story, and that story could change your life. So let's crack it open to discover the news in you. Sit back and relax as we dive into part 2 of our conversation. So fast forward from 2023 when the video first blew up to now, around 30 million, just 30 million, views. You are now working as a full-time content creator, but what you've done so masterfully is you've expanded your repertoire of characters and you're showing range. You have a degree in this, you're an expert. To be able to go from this beloved character of Paloma Diamond to now doing an 80s series and being contacted by Kylie Minogue and collaborating with her, to also having your, one man or one woman band and being on Broadway, this show, and then off Broadway and now in movies. Describe what your life is like now.
Eleisha, you're making it sound like a lot more glamorous than it is. I never performed on Broadway, although I know what you mean. I performed at 54 Below, which is where a lot of Broadway performers go to do cabaret shows. So I performed there, but it's not an on-Broadway or an off-Broadway venue. But it was a one-woman show that I did as Paloma, which was so lovely and wonderful. I've done so many auditions this year. In fact, I just came from an audition before calling you. Have I gotten any callbacks? Zero! None whatsoever. It is not glamorous. You do really have you have to audition and you have to hustle, but that's just the nature of Hollywood. That's the nature of the gig of being a working actor, is that you will just never get any callbacks. The feature-length film that I acted in, I was invited, they wanted me. They got me on set to do this movie with Sasha Pierce, who was in Pretty Little Liars, and the man who plays, I forgot his name, he's going to kill me for this, but the man who plays Bannister in The Gilded Age, he was in this movie as well. So we're really excited. That comes out next year sometime.
First feature film, right?
This is my first feature.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That would have been amazing.
It was a very interesting experience, because I've never been in a movie before. And even though it was low budget, I was expecting there to be 3 people on set. No, there were 48 people on set. It was a big production. So, probably not in comparison to other things, but they were like, oh no, this is low to moderate. And I was like, oh, So it's actually, there's quite a big team involved. The producers, I met the directors, I met, actors on set. It was really, really cool. Such a fun experience. A lot of really long hours, honestly. And actors will back me up on this, or people that have worked on film sets. A lot of it is just waiting. You're just waiting and waiting and waiting. Grab yourself a good book. Grab yourself a good book, because they have like a call sheet and they have a schedule of what shots they're doing, and it's never in chronological order. It's already out there. I'm going to be involved in a movie called Offsite, a comedy horror.
Okay.
And it's about like a tech startup company, a very small tech startup company, very dysfunctional. They go out to this house and it's like a team building event. And it's very funny, and it ends up, there's a lot of blood and gore it's like black comedy. It's like a comedy horror.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it. I don't even know when it comes out. But yeah, there's that movie that I did that was such a fun experience. The Kylie Minogue thing wasn't, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you met her and everything. I'm like, well, not really. I texted her, but we've never actually met in person, face to face. She messaged me. For those of you that don't know, I have this 80s style soap opera that I did not expect for people to really latch onto. But I think because the production elements are quite heavy on costumes and makeup and set and sound, there's a great artist that I collaborate with called Sunglasses Kid. And he just has composed and mixed these gorgeous 80s instrumental tracks that went viral on TikTok. And then I think, and I've always credited it like him, you can always see his names there at the bottom of the video. And I made this kind of story with these characters, and I've just finished season 3. Wow. And so we're on to season 4. I remember she would like a lot of my videos. So I was like, Kylie Minogue likes your video. Oh, wow, that's so cool and special. And then it wasn't until she messaged me, she DM'd me and she went, I just thought it would be really fun if maybe I could be involved and I could film something on my end and then send it to you and I could be a part. And I'm like, are you kidding me? The Kylie Minogue messaged me. And I think she wanted to do it because if you think about it, Kylie Minogue was actually herself in an original 1980s soap opera. She was in Neighbours, which was huge in Australia and New Zealand and even bigger in the UK. So it makes sense that she would want to kind of relive that and kind of be in that kind of drama style show again. And I honestly thought that she wouldn't do it. I was like, no, you know what she's done? She's probably had like 2 rosés in the evening and gone, this would be fun to do. And I thought she's far too busy. She's this amazing, successful pop star. She won't have the time. And it was just a fun idea, but she won't actually do it because she's so busy. She's on tour and everything. But no, 2 months later, she was like, I'm sorry, it's so delayed. Here it is. And I was like, ah. And then I added her into the video and people went crazy. Like it was so insane. It was so fabulous to have her on board. And I met, like, the last time I messaged her was actually a few months ago because we're thinking about bringing that character back. No spoilers, but actually, I don't know. I still don't really know where that's going to go. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's exciting. That is so cool. Would you say that content creators are the new Hollywood?
No.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Hollywood is a very particular kind of talent, right? It's acting, or it's in the world of movies or the world of TV shows, or like, and Broadway is a separate thing as well. I think influencers, I mean, I hate calling myself an influencer. I hate it. I love entertaining people. I really love making these stories and these characters and making visual storytelling. I love doing that, as I assume you do and Logan does. When it comes to the news and your podcast, you know, I love doing that. And I'm very proud to say that I do what I love for a living.
This year has been so full on for you both, but particularly with a lot of the starts and getting your visa to officially work in America and seeing probably a lot more money and funding and branding. It's a whole world. How have you navigated that? And can you give us like a peek behind the scenes? Because I think for a lot of people, we assume, you know, the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. disclaimer, I used to work in television. It's not glamorous. You know, there might be like 5 or 10% where you get your hair and makeup done and you get to go shopping with a stylist. But outside of that, there's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of waiting around as an actor. What are some of the myths that you could bust, I guess?
I think that people that tend to really thrive in this industry are people that love what they do. So like what I was saying before, if you are somebody that doesn't like continuously making content and you don't like having to pump out 2 or 3 videos a week, then it's probably not the career for you, you know? Like, and there are people like that, and I've seen them and I've met them where they actually, it's a chore for them. You know, they're kind of over it. They don't like having to like make videos all the time. But if you like doing that, you know, then I think it's very different. Like I love being able to pump out videos. I'll think about the idea and I'll run it by Logan or run it by my family and go, you know, do you think this is a good idea? And if they go, not really, I'll think about something else. But sometimes it'll be like, oh yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, that's what you should do that, definitely. And then I'll write a script and then I'll film. Like I'm going to film something right after this conversation with you. At the end of the day, you have to put yourself in a box, unfortunately. And I know that's not the nicest thing to hear, but you do have to put yourself in a category of, right, what do I do? There were many, many times in my life where actually I wanted to be really political on my platform.
Okay.
Which is probably going to ruffle some feathers because I feel like people are going, well, why don't you? Well, why can't you be? Why can't you be speak politically? And I answer them with the straightforward response that that's not what people follow me for. In fact, I sometimes do Instagram stories where I have a statement or a political statement. And I think one of my most recent ones was in response to the ICE protests that happened in LA. I wanted to vocalize my, just how upsetting it was. And I released an Instagram story, and the amount of people that were like, yeah, but I follow you because I want to break from this. I follow you for an escape from this. You're not the news. Like it was a very clear message that I was getting a lot of support from people that agreed with me, but I was getting likewise just as much backlash from people that disagreed with me.
Wow. And
I was like, ugh. And Logan, who has been a fantastic rock in all of this, and who knows what it's like as well, because he's also a journalist, was like, I don't think that you should be political. I think that you should stick to your lane of just making people laugh. Because that in and of itself is actually a really beautiful thing that you can do for other people, is to entertain them and make people laugh. And there was some truth in that statement that the lady said, this random follower said, I follow you for an escape from this. I don't want to have to see it in my favorite creators. Oh, I don't want to have to hear about it from my favorite creators. I want an escape from the news. Even though I sort of disagreed with her, I was like, okay, well, like, I see your point. And it is so controversial, and so many people listening to this will be like, that's not good, and I don't agree with that. And I know, and I understand, but it's a tough world, and it's a tough industry. You have to stick to your lane. You have to be, if you want to be successful in this business, you have to be really vigilant with and really strict with your consistency of posting and your brand. And you've constantly got to keep asking yourself, right, how does this affect my brand? Or because essentially what I'm selling is myself. I'm self-employed.
I imagine, like, if I was in that position, it would be a steep learning curve, and overnight, like, very quickly you'd have to be like, okay, double down, like, you're so close with your family and they really ground you and they remind you of, values. But then you're also in the business of, now making money full time and content creating and being a brand. What is that like, being a brand?
I'm constantly learning every day what this job consists of, because I never went to university for this. I didn't know that I was going to be a brand. And essentially what I do a lot is advertising. That is what I do. I advertise, and that's what pays me my salary. You have this everywhere, but America specifically, man, they've got the budget for it. They have got the budget for...
How much are we talking? Can you throw some numbers out?
Oh, it's in the thousands, tens of thousands, like hundreds of thousands. Like, I don't get paid hundreds of thousands, but I remember when I was first in New Zealand and I was This was before Paloma and everything. I was working, it was like 1,000 New Zealand dollars for a branded post, which again, I was like, wow, 1,000 New Zealand, that's a pretty good amount of money. Roughly did the conversion to the US. And when I was establishing rates for not the agency that I'm with now, but the previous agency I was with, they were like, what are your proposed rates? And I was like, I'm thinking 800 US, which was roughly equivalent to, I think, 1,200 New Zealand. So I bumped it up a little bit. But I was like, 800 US for one branded post, I think is really good. And she got back to me and my agent was like, Julian, if I'm going to be honest with you, $800 is pennies. And I was like, 800 US? She's like, pennies. I'm thinking 10K. And I was like, 10,000 US dollars. And they're like, yeah. And then sometimes it goes a bit lower, a little bit higher, depending on, it's just a ballpark figure, but like around about that. But that was back in 2023. It's been 2 years since that. So
wow.
So you can only imagine, but I'm not going to put it in any number. And again, it's every brand is different. And I don't do the negotiations, my agency does.
Wow. What are your goals? I mean, it sounds like you are going with the flow of where this takes you, but I'm sure you've been planning with your agency. I mean, you've done your first feature film, Broadway. You were also part of a Pride parade in New York as well as Paloma. What was that like?
It was with, like a radio station, and they wanted to have certain special guests on their float. And originally I was like, I don't know if this is really me. And I'm like, well, I am gay and I'm very proud to be gay. And I am, I would love to actually go to a Pride parade. I've never been to one. The first Pride parade I go to, I'm actually on a float, waving at everyone as Paloma Diamond in a white dress in the baking hot 35-degree weather. It was like 100 Fahrenheit. It was so hot. And it was in the middle of June and I had a wig on and everything. All I wanted to do was just take that wig off. I think they just thought that I was just some random drag queen that didn't really do her makeup very well. But I was just like, hi. And then there were some people, when you got into the thick crowds, that would point and like scream and like video me. So that was fun as well. It all looks very glamorous. And I think parts of it are very glamorous. You get to go to these really glamorous events and these lovely parties and, you do feel very special, but at the same time, it can be really lonely. I mean, the entire time I was in Bridgerton, at this Bridgerton event, which was like a multi-day event, I didn't know anyone and I was homesick. I just missed Logan. I was like, Logan, I wish you could come with me to see how these, it was essentially like Disney on Ice. It was so beautiful. Like it was just the decorations and the chandeliers, and it was just beautiful. And I just wanted Logan to be with me to experience it all. And he couldn't come because he was working. It can be really lonely. It really can. And people are really fortunate that they might have jobs where they, like when I was working at a school, you have colleagues that you get along with. There's community in that. There's a community in a lot of working spaces, whether you work at a hospital or whether you work, in a firm or an office or at a school. You have people around you all of the time, and you don't have that as a content creator. You are working by yourself. Yes, you're working for the masses and you've got the comments and everything, but really, this is the room that I'm in right now where I film most of my videos. This is my studio in Manhattan, my production studio, and I'm just here by myself. Nobody's with me. It's a very lonely feeling.
Yeah, gosh, being in these spaces, after a while, the gloss and the shine kind of wears off a little bit, right? With the interactions that you've had with other well-known figures, do you have any favorite stories or people that you've met that you've thought, wow, I'm never going to forget this interaction?
I think it was probably the Gilded Age premiere. So the third season to the Gilded Age came out this year. And it's funny, I get invited to go to a lot of premieres for a lot of movies and a lot of things. But I just go because it's nice to show up and, everything's been coordinated by my team and given to me. And I feel obliged to go and, very grateful for the experience that I can go, and watch the premiere and be in that space. Yeah, but most of the time I wouldn't really watch most of the films that I'm going to the premieres for. However, my team reached out to me and they were like, so we've got you, there's an invite to go to the Gilded Age premiere for the season 3 of Gilded Age. And I just immediately was like, yes, because I am obsessed with that show. And a lot of, I have this character called Aunt Ingrid that I do that's a period, a matriarch woman that's very much based on Christine Baranski in her character in the Gilded Age, which is Aunt Agnes. And I was like, 100%, let's do it, let's go. And they said that I could bring a +1. And obviously Logan loves the show as well.
Yes.
So we went and we were so excited because they took us they made us watch the first episode. And then there was a Q&A with Julian Fellows and a few of the cast members. And then after that, we hopped on a bus and we went to the most impressive venue. It was like walking into a cathedral, like a modern cathedral, stained glass windows, chandeliers. It was so incredibly opulent. All white glove service. There are waiters. It was like being in the 1950s. There were waiters with white gloves in a line circling the entire venue. Christine Baranski walked by us, and Logan loves Christine Baranski as well. And I was like, I wonder if I should say something, But I'm always really, really nervous about approaching celebrities because most of the time I think they just want to kind of get on with the day. And so I was like, should I? I didn't know what to say, so I just went, oh my God, I love your dress. And she was wearing this beautiful green long dress. And she goes, and she stops and she goes, I feel like a pistachio pudding. And I said, yes, you work. It's beautiful. It's absolutely delicious. And she walks away and she goes, thank you. Don't try to lick me. And I said, you know I will. And she went, and then walked away. But I was like, done. I can die happy. I said hi to Christine Baranski. That was insane. Such a beautiful moment. And Logan and I were both there at the same time. And we looked at each other and we were like, yeah, it was just insane. It was so cool.
How do you think Hollywood has responded to you basically making fun of them and making fun of the Oscars? You're living in New York for a reason, but why do you think making fun of Hollywood has resonated with so many people?
Hollywood's incredibly exclusive, and they're proudly exclusive. When we went to the Netflix to Doom Festival, and it was this collaboration of all of these Netflix shows in this one big arena in LA, and it was huge, and there were so many. It was like this red carpet was endless. It was huge, and it felt like a real red carpet. But they always go, 5 p.m., influencer carpet opens. 6 p.m., influencer carpet closes. And celebrity carpet opens. So there is a clear cutoff. It's the influencers first, then it's the celebrities. There's a clear hierarchy of who's the more important. And I went into that red carpet, which was cool. You get to speak to people and you get to say hi to your fans, and people come up and they ask you questions and interview you, which is great. And then you're sort of ushered into a small space, but there was no food or drinks. It was just there, and you're kind of there in the baking sun because it was June and it was LA and it was so hot. And you're just kind of told to wait there until you can go into the venue. Meanwhile, all the celebrities are getting ushered into a separate, covered, air-conditioned area where they can have drinks and nibbles, and they can mingle and talk to one another. And you're just there going, I sense a bit of a hierarchy happening where I'm not as important. So, and you do get that. When I was at the Gotham TV Awards, it was so funny. I went with a rep from Meta who was like, do you want to go and walk on the red carpet? I'm like, I don't have to. It's fine. I'm just cool. She goes, no, let's get you walking up. That would be really fun. And I was like, okay. And you don't understand. You're in a line, right? You're at the line waiting to go on the red carpet. There's a line. What happens in these events is so fascinating because people who are more important get to cut the line. And you know how that happens? It's through their reps. Usually, the more famous you are, the bigger your entourage. And you have an entourage of people that then talk to the door lady. And the door lady's, just imagine, it's exactly what you pictured in your mind. She has sunglasses. She has these two big bodyguards with sunglasses on. And she's there like she's on her phone and she's like, no, yes, you, no, not you. And she was going, okay, who's this? I was like, oh, it's Julian. I'm from Meta. And because she was my rep, she was speaking. And she goes, I'm sorry, he's not on the list. And I was like, it's okay. I'm not on the list. Let's go. I'm done. Let's go. And she goes, no. We waited in line for all of this time. And she's like, I know Cynthia. And the girl at the front goes, she's got her sunglasses on. She's like, okay, wait. Talks to somebody at the back. And she goes, can he stand over here? And so we then stand to the side. But it's so funny. There are these people there's this huge line behind us that's growing and growing. Then somebody comes out of a white limo and people start screaming. They go immediately to the front and they get to cut in and the reps go, yep, I rep him, blah, 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 blah. The PR, the publicists go, yeah. And then the door lady goes, yes, okay, he can come through. And I'm like, he got to skip the line? I'm waiting here. No, anyways, so then after about 5 minutes, my rep goes, do you know what? Should we just call it like quits and just go back into the event? You don't need to do the red carpet. And I was like, and just as I'm about to say yes, the door lady with the sunglasses on goes, yeah. And she looks back in and then she points at me and she goes, him over here. And then the lady comes out. I have no idea who she is. And she goes, Paloma Diamond, what are you doing out here? Come inside this instant. And so she invites me in and then brings me to the front. And she goes, oh, I can't believe you had to wait out there. And so made me feel really special. I'm like, oh, well, I'm glad somebody here knows who I am. So it was just so nice it was just so funny to experience that because, yeah, I would say that there's such a hierarchy. It's definitely celebrities over influencers. Yeah, it's just so interesting how you can just cut the line. Even after I'd gone into the venue, after I'd been accepted, there was another line to actually step onto the red carpet. And then I was chatting to my rep about this and I was like, this is just the most weirdest thing that they can just feel so entitled to just go straight to the front. And she goes, Hollywood, very, very Hollywood. It's so exclusive.
Did you ever think that this is where you would be, acting and making content?
No. I didn't, for the life of it, I knew that I wanted to keep doing it when I really loved it. I discovered that I loved it. And when Paloma Diamond came out, I knew that I wanted to keep doing it. But I never really thought until I think it was mid-2024 that I could actually do this full time, that I could actually afford to do it full time. But I can. And I feel so lucky and grateful. I've collaborated with so many cool, interesting people this year and so many cool brands. I tell you what my goal is. I would love to get a bigger studio. So this is my production studio now, and it's in Manhattan. It's very, very small because it is in Manhattan. I can only afford so much space, but I would love a bigger studio. I would love to essentially have my own soundstage, have like a proper set, additional lighting, and someone that can walk through scripts with me and just to really have the space and the resources to continue doing what I'm doing, but with like bigger and better and equipment and more space. I have so many costumes and so many wigs and so many props, and they're all here behind me.
What does success look like to you?
I think success comes from really loving what you do. I know that sounds like a cliche thing to say, but it really is. Like, growing up, my dad constantly said, I love what I do. I wake up and I look forward to going to work every single day. And everyone in my family, my extended family, was like, oh, wish we could just all have a Rod Sewell job, which is a job where you really look forward to going into work every day. There's no way I would have been this successful if I didn't truly love my work. I really, really deeply love my work. I love experimenting with makeup and costumes and the visuals. I love playing around with screenwriting and cinematography.
And have you already got a jam-packed 2026?
Oh, it's award season's right around the corner, and it's always my busiest time of the year, content-wise, because I do have to come up with what I'm going to do. I have to think about what I'm going to do in terms of these characters, and the creative is all on my own. I might need Logan's help for filming and things like that. But most of it is, the creative is on my own. I do have a team that helps out in terms of my brand, and I've got an agency and I've got a manager, and I've got different agents within the agency that are responsible for different aspects of my career. But essentially the creative is on my own.
For, I guess, aspiring content creators and people that have been following your rise and stardom and just your beautiful journey, just following the journey, that want to replicate something like that, what would your advice be to them?
Keep going, or keep doing this. Don't give up. Keep going, keep at it. And don't weigh yourself down with numbers, which I'm totally guilty of, and Logan can attest to that. Because I'm like, why isn't this video done very well? Or if you love what you're doing and maybe you start out and you're like, oh, there's no way that I can, you will have an audience, and that audience will grow. And even like a really, really close friend of mine that lives in New York, you know, she has 25,000 followers. She doesn't have 2 million like me. She has a lot smaller of a community, but she has a community. And what she does is so niche. It's so specific. And there is an audience for that. Like, there will be people that will like and follow your work, and will engage with it because they love what you do.
That's beautiful advice.
Just don't give up and keep going. And I say that to you as well, Eleisha.
Oh, that's such a beautiful place to leave it. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been such a joy. So many incredible stories and behind the scenes sneak peeks about what it's like being a content creator, walking the red carpet, coming from very beautiful, unique beginnings from Hong Kong to studying in Australia to teaching in New Zealand and having such a strong foundation to then, you know, catapulting in New York and taking it by storm with your husband. I'm just so proud of you. Yeah, I can't wait to see how your journey unfolds. Thank you for listening to The News and You. Your support means the world. If you believe in the work we do at The News and You, sign up to our Patreon. It really is the best way to keep this going and be part of the Newsies community. I'd be so grateful if you can share the love by leaving a rating and review. It'll help spread these stories even further. What are your key takeaways? If this story impacted you, or even made you see the world a little differently, why not share it with your friends and family? Until next time, remember, your story matters, and there's a shared truth behind everything.